Hello everyone, and today I am back with a DiamondFire coding tutorial. Today we are going to start off episode 1 with player events and player actions. Now, these are going to be the only two topics we are covering today. This is for absolute noobs. If you have no idea what you're doing on DiamondFire and you want to figure out, this is where you've come to the right place. So, let's just start off with the player event. The player event is first in line, okay? And you can right click, like, wow, oh, you don't be overwhelmed. You can right click the sign, and these are all the player events. Now, you're going to see a pop-up note document. Let's say join. We're going to be making a game, by the way. If I did not tell you, we're going to be making a game, and we're going to code it together. So, player event join. Okay, well, now what? Well, player action, boom. So, um, give items. Okay, well, let's actually read that again. Give items. Gives the selected player all of the items in the chest. Now, if you just started learning DiamondFire coding, looking at what these say is crucial. Like, the name of set items and give items, you might be like, well, what's the difference? Well, if you read, like, give items so you can control which inventory slots it goes in. That's a difference. That's important to understand. And for set armor, for instance, it tells you in what slots it's going to check for what armor piece. That's important. So give items. And it said what we want to give, so we're going to get some polished diagranite. Now, boom. So, you're still seeing that notepad document on your screen, and all the code always moves from here to here. Always goes in a straight line from left to right. So, it's going to check once. It's going to loop once and check whenever I start playing the game. Did I join? Yes, I did join the game when I joined the game. Obvious. So it's going to, yep, this is working. And then we move on to here, and it says, okay, I'm going to give this to the selected um, object. And objects in DiamondFire are exactly what they sound like. They're objects. So it refers back to the player event. So if I do this to all players, shift right clicking, by the way, on that little right here, you can see, it's going, you can check what the select player object. So I can do current selection, and current selection is the player who joined. Default player is the player who joined. Random player is any random player. So let me explain this a little further. If I say all players and I join the game, it's going to run into this and say, oh, hey, I need to give items. I need to give a polished granite to every single player because it's all players. Not just to the player who joined, but everyone else on your plot that didn't just join. So if I say random, it'll do the same thing, but it'll give a polished granite to a random player on your plot, no matter if they just joined or if they were here before. So when you do slash play, I'll get a polished granite, and it says I joined recorded parkour, since that's the plot name of this. It normally will not show this, just to make sure. This is just for me because I'm the owner of this plot. And since it's choosing a random player, I'm the only player on, so do slash dev, go back to here. So now we can see that that's it. The building blocks, the foundation, the code will always move from left to right. A player action will only work on its selected object, to where now if I do victim, for instance, victim does not work with the join event. If I went back here, player kill player, and then did victim, it now knows victim and killer. If I do shift right click, shooter, damager, killer, these four only work with specific player events, which is why they refer back to it. So if I do victim, do slash play, I still get it. Mostly because the code has no idea what to do right now. If I do slash dev, oh my god, DiamondFire. If I do slash dev, then it doesn't really understand victim. Like, does that mean the player who joined? Does that mean anyone? So it's just gonna give it to you. It doesn't really understand. So let's switch it back to default player. Default player is just the player that joined. Current selection, the difference between default player and current selection is that current selection is just what you have. Current select, this is essentially, I don't really understand why current selection exists. It might be useful, I don't know why, but it's essentially stating, overstating again that this is what I want. So each player event comes with a default. It's defaultly, if I put nothing in here, if I somehow just got rid of this, grab that, pick that up, give items, put that in, do slash play. Defaultly, it's set to the default player selection for this without doing anything is default. If I do slash dev, I can, if I do current selection, it's essentially saying I want the default player to get the default block for the default player, which doesn't, you don't need any of this. But all of these are very useful later on. But anyways, that is going to conclude it for the first DiamondFire tutorial episode. Just a very quick overview on how to do, well, player events and player actions. Anyways, bye! See you next time!